G'day, Mr. and Ms. Internet and all our ships at sea. It's time once again for the Freeway Forum, coming to you live and direct from the Bonza world famous 405 freeway in beautiful sunny Southern California. Although the surfing in Southern California is not quite what the surfing is in Southeast Australia. I got it wrong. Okay, my apologies to, I just lost like my entire Australian audience there. Sorry, that is my terrible Australian accent. It used to be a lot better. I swear, I used to have a much better Australian accent, a better fake Australian accent. Yeah, it was terrible. God. It was actually supposedly it was actually convincing at one point in time, but that was not it. That was my terrible. Like, that's my impersonation of somebody. That's my impersonation of an American impersonating Paul Hogan. So there you go. That's how I'll spin that one. Anyway, world famous 405 freeway in beautiful sunny Southern California, even though it is not so sunny anymore at 5 o'clock because of the time change and everything. Anyway, we're gonna deal with it just as best we can. So this is a free-form conversation hosted by me, but it is driven by you. Yes, you friends. You and your comments are what make this show possible. So sit back, kick back. We're going to have a topic today, and we're going to talk about it, and we're just going to have a good time. In the meantime, go ahead and give this video a like, give it a thumbs up, and share it with all of your social media peoples on the Twitters and the Facebooks and the Instagrams and the Snapchats and the whatever else you're using, whatever else the kids are using these days to message with each other. But get as many people in here as you can. That way we can have ourselves a rollicking good discussion. Anyway, so it's real quick, Chris. He's back in the house. Back in the house. How you doing, Chris? Anyway, so we are. Oh, pardon me. I'm still kind of. So yesterday was Steve Irwin Day, which I believe is. I want to say it is a celebration of Steve Irwin's birthday, not his death day. But the late, the great Steve Irwin, Crocodile Hunter to us 90s kids, definitely a legend in his own time. So I figured we would start the Freeway Forum just celebrating the life and the career of Steve Irwin, and that sort of evolved as an idea into just talking about our favorite Australians and you know, those of us who are not blessed enough to live on the world's largest island or the world's smallest continent, depending on how you're looking at it. Those of us who are not blessed to live in God's own country, according to I think it was Eric Idle that called it God's own country. I'm not sure, but Australia, we love you, amen. So just a celebration of all things Aussie and all peoples and all the fun stuff that we do love about the continent down under, the land that's way under, down under the skies. No, that was Tasmania, but whatever. Anyway, so we were talking about Steve Irwin there, and halfway invited Twiz Fizz here to join us today because many more Australians than I do, I'm inviting her to chime in here and correct me on all the things that I have wrong about Australia, and maybe a few things that I actually have right about Australia, because I've never actually been there, although I've always wanted to go there. So Steve Irwin. So if you've been living under a rock for the past 20 years, Steve Irwin was a gentleman, naturalist, conservationist, ran the Australia Zoo Zoological Park, famously known as the Crocodile Hunter for his television show, the eponymous television show on whatever channel that was, Discovery Channel, I guess. I know the hell out of Steve Irwin, just his antics, you know, because he's got this bubbly personality, just this great personality. He's very, very energetic, very, very fun. Just absolutely has had a passion for what he did, and bringing an enjoyment and an appreciation for nature to a mass audience around the world. And when I heard about what happened, the accident that ultimately caused his death, I was rather distraught. I was upset about that, because he was a big part of my my growing up, my adolescence, and so yeah, so you know, I've kind of had a you know, a spot in the back of my mind, a spot in my heart for you know, it's probably not a good turn of phrase, but whatever. But an appreciation for Steve Irwin, and then of course his work carried on by his surviving wife Terry, and now his kids Bindi and Bob. Which I always thought was funny, because so his son Bob, his youngest son, or his younger child son Bob, is named after his dad, and his older child Bindi, his daughter, she's actually named after the dog. It's like, what the heck, dude? Yeah, so they named their kid Bindi after a dog. And at least I thought that was the story. It was Bindi and Sue, I think, were his dogs. But who names your kid after your dog? I mean, I love my dogs. I absolutely love my dogs, but I don't know if I would name my kid Remy or Zoe. Matt says he didn't actually watch much of his stuff, but he knew who he was, just didn't watch it very much. That's okay. I mean, if you didn't watch it, you didn't watch it. I enjoyed it. I thought it was really fun. Of course, I was a nerdy kid that liked to watch the Discovery Channel, and I liked to watch all those weird things. I mean, hell, I was a huge fan of Bill Nye the Science Guy, and I still want to bring 321 Contact and Square One Television back. Oh, you had no cable, that's why. Oh yeah. Well, see, we didn't have cable until I was like in high school, or maybe middle school. I don't remember. When my parents got cable. So it was about the time that Crocodile Hunter was starting to become a thing, like sort of a cultural meme. It was about that time that we actually got cable, so that was one of the first shows I really watched regularly. So there's that. Yeah, I think we grew up in that time where people were starting to get cable, and you know, they were starting to get it, and like more households were starting to get it on these sort of introductory packages. It wasn't like the world was at the end of the 90s going into the 2000s, where just everybody had cable because you had to have cable, because that's how you got internet at that point. But yeah, I think we were growing up in that period. You're a little bit older than me, but we were growing up in that period where we were transitioning from analog into digital, and we were going from not have, you know, where only the super rich households had cable, to then like sort of the median households had cable, and then, you know, the poorest households started to have cable later. And so we were in that adoptive period. Same with dial-up internet. I think we were in that adoptive period as well. I truth be told, I actually sort of hustled internet from America Online back in the day. So we got fire trucks incoming. That's not a good thing. At least the freeway's moving. So Matt says he had a big antenna with a rope on it. 3 stakes in the yard would be the rope, depending on which channel. Oh, nice. So you would like you'd have to physically move it with a rope. That's funny. Physically move the big Yagi antenna. Oh boy, come on, let the big boys through. Got some got some fire trucks. Fire trucks trying to get to the scene of an accident, most likely a traffic collision, something. Got an engine and an ambulance, and they're just kind of cruising along. Apparently, it's not too big a deal because only the ambulance has the lights on, and the engine, which is leading, does not have the lights on. I'm sure he can sit down on that horn or the siren if anybody gets in his way. So hopefully that's all off to the side and we don't get too much of a backup here. But yeah, so that's funny that. So Matt says his favorite Aussies right now are Moog and Marty, and unfortunately I don't know who they are. So you're gonna have to elaborate a little bit on that, Moog and Marty. I'm not familiar with them. Yeah, I posted on Twitter. Yeah, here we go. If you go to my Twitter at AirborneSurfer, follow me on AirborneSurfer, follow me on Twitter, and tell me who my top. Oh, Mighty Car Mods. Okay, all right, I got you. So yeah, so if you can tell me, if you can go to my Twitter and tell me who my top four Australians are, you'll win a prize. So that says it got turned on to them from Roadkill. It must be another. Oh yeah, that's that other. That's the other car tube. If you're into car tubers, check out RevMatch. He's pretty cool. Eric Roby. He's out of El Segundo over here. So just on the other side of the county, I guess, really, from me. But yeah, he's got a cool little car-centric channel. He's got a shop over here in El Segundo, and he's doing some cool stuff with cars, and I appreciate him. Anyway, yeah. So the first one that can tell me my top four Australians will win a prize. International, you may have to pay for shipping for that prize, but we'll see. Maybe I'll come up with a prize that I don't have to ship, but whatever. Anyway, so Moog and Marty. Okay, who else do we have as favorite Australians here? Moog and Marty. When I think of Moog, I just think of keyboards. I can't really, I just get keyboards on the brain, so I'm like, Men Without Hats. Men Without Hats. That's another great. That's a great group of Australians there. Men Without Hats and their safety dance, because we can dance if we want to. We can leave this world behind. And if your friends don't dance, and if they don't dance, well, they're no friends of mine. So Men Without Hats. No. Men Without Hats. It's Men at Work. Men at Work. Who's Men Without Hats? Made in America with Australian parts count. Mel Gibson. Oh, Matt says Mel Gibson is his favorite. Okay.